Oh my god. Oh my lord, that twist in this episode of AOT at the very end, incredible. One of the craziest twists I've seen so far in AOT. I didn't even see it coming. But with that being said, if you're not already familiar, we're going to break down and we're going to recap and analyze AOT episode 62, or otherwise Attack on Titan Final Season Episode 3. So if you haven't already watched the video, there will be spoilers ahead. And basically, this is just, my first impressions, really, of the episode just after watching it, and my analysis, criticism, concerns, things like that. Later in the week, we will have a more in-depth review. So if you haven't already, please subscribe because you do not want to miss it. And I actually want to talk about that for just one more second. I'll be short, so stick with me. Thank you guys for getting the past two videos. The first video got 100k views, and the most recent one from last episode got 20k views. I did the episode like this last week, just my first impressions, and it almost got 4,000 views. So with this video, can we get it to 4,000? I'd love to see it. That would make my day. But anyways, besides that, give me your ideas for AOT content. I want to pay you guys back with something, just some more AOT content. So whatever you got, I would like to hear. As well, The Promised Neverland, my video on that recently just reached 80k views as well, so I can't wait for that season 2 to come out. We're going to be covering it on the channel. So with that being said, let's get into the video. So we start off with Ryder and his mother. His mother tells him that they were abandoned by his father and that she wishes that they were just Marlians. As we learn to find out, well, their father abandoned him. It was very bad. Reiner now, though, he's laying in his bed. He remembers why he did all of this to begin with. It was to become Marlians and make sure his mother looked up to him and they could have a family again. Then, back to a flashback. Reiner actually was perceived one of the weaker ones, which is actually very interesting because as we know now, Reiner for us really isn't one of the weaker ones. He seems to be one of the more determined ones based off what we know. All of his colleagues believe that the only value that he had in this whole group was because he was loyal to Marley. Reiner threatens to report Porco because of the things that he's saying. It's coming off as, he's a sympathizer or a restorationist, I believe is what the term he used. He gets bullied basically. Annie doesn't care. Nobody really cares. Actually, the only person that seems to really care about Reiner is Bertold. He seems to be his only friend. He is the odd man out. And for the other people, they just don't really like Reiner at all. And Reiner believes that he's training with Bertold, that at the end of these 13 years, he's going to save the world by crushing the devils, which shows once again that this world really hates Eldians and hates these devils, these people that abandoned them, which is very sad to say because these people are just, their own people, right? The next scene is actually really cool. It's a really great scene, in my opinion. Probably one of the best scenes of the episode, just for how well the aesthetics of all of it was pulled off. It seems very Black Ops-y kind of thing, like, oh, we got the secret documents and files. There was a lot of chromatic aberration, things that make it look like something you'd see from the 80s and give that Cold War aesthetic, or I guess the 60s, actually. So they give the breakdown of why each person got the Titan that they got. We see a really horrifying sequence that harkens back to the Cold War, which once again, I don't know if you guys have really been catching this. Maybe that could be my next video on AOT. Attack on Titan is invoking a lot of wars. They've invoked World War I, World War II, and with this episode, it seems that they're invoking a little bit of the Cold War. They used a colossal titan, basically like a nuclear bomb, to wipe out a whole nation. While this is happening, they're just looking onwards as Bertold just killed thousands, maybe 1 million people, who knows? The commander thinks that sending these kids in is insane, and the other one says, well, these kids just took out a whole nation. As you see the colossal titan with fire and brimstone all around him, I mean, it's shocked and awe. The horror and devastation that the colossal titan just transforming can pull off. It's incredible, man. After that scene, we see that Porco doesn't like that Reiner was the chosen warrior. And you really get the sense that Reiner, at this point, has shown above the expectations that Porco gave Reiner. He's actually almost thriving in a sense. It's one of those adages of like, all the hate that you throw me, it's only going to make me stronger. That kind of thing. It really seems like Reiner has really tapped into his potential at this point. So they're all celebrated in a parade as honorary Marlians. Reiner got what he wanted. And he sees his dad in the crowd, and he envisions this really depressing interaction between his father and himself he walks into the store, tells them, hey, we can all be a family now. And his father replies, basically, you're going to get me hanged. I'm leaving. I'm running away. It's actually kind of confusing, but if you see it, you'll kind of understand that he envisions this whole thing. He pops back into current Reiner, where he's still on the carriage being wheeled around and celebrated. If you're confused about that, it seems that this is a vision he has, a daydream of sorts. And Reiner is on the boat being shipped off to the other island, and he realizes he sort of didn't need his father, but more so that he's in denial. That, okay, so this goal that I needed, I didn't need this goal, right? I'm a soldier. Nothing bad is going on in my life. That's really what it seemed like to me, that he's in denial of how his father may react, what is going on right now for him. It's really depressing, to be quite frank, that Reiner at this point, his whole goal was just to be a happy family, and now he can't get it. So now the next thing he's falling upon, and we see this all the time with Reiner. All right, it's the next compromise, right? It's a really sad way to live. So now they're at their little makeshift camp on the way to Wal Rose, Wal Maria. Marcel reveals to Reiner that he wasn't supposed to be a warrior, basically shit-talking his brother so that he can talk Reiner up for him to be the warrior, so that he could protect his brother. And shocked by all of this, the moment happens, the moment that I think I've been waiting to see forever, how Ymir became a Titan. And Ymir pops up in her Titan form and eats Marcel. It's a really shocking moment. It happens, just in an instant like that. So Reiner runs away. Marcel is dead at this point. It seems like he ran for a long time. It seems like they were at camp in the morning and he bolted and kept running until it was daylight. Annie finds him, frightens him, kicks him, says he's the one who ditched, blames it all on him. Annie says, let's just go back right now. This has already failed. Reiner knows that if he does that, he's going to be eaten by the next candidate for the warrior titan, or the armor titan rather. So Reiner says, no, let's push on, let's move forward. And Annie hates Reiner, doesn't really care about Reiner at all, says, well, I don't really give a shit about you, let's do it, not like I care. This episode is kind of the most Annie we've seen Annie. In season 1, we've mostly seen Annie as this fake person. Now, finally, 3 seasons later, in the final season of all things, we're seeing Annie as the real person she's always been, which seems to be, doesn't care about anybody else but her own. She's like a really bad person. She beats the piss out of Reiner, blames it all on him, all of this, tells to go back to Magath and tell him, yeah, this is all my fault. His face is just beaten in. It looks like he's dead. Annie turns around. Reiner gets up in one of the most awesome pieces of imagery Attack on Titan has had so far. Puts Annie in a chokehold and says, Reiner is dead. He'll be Marcel if he has to. And Berthold is watching all this and he just says they just want to go back together. And it seems that Berthold is really the gentle one out of this, but also doesn't really stick up for himself either. We switch to a sequence where we see Reiner overtaking the wall in the first season of Attack on Titan. He's wondering why he was saved. And then we see this interesting sequence. They're traveling again, and he's reminiscing about this man he met. He says this story about how he used to live in the village off Wal Maria. As soon as the Titans attacked, he left his 3 kids behind, same age as those 3 that he was talking to. The next day, he hangs himself, and they ask, why did he tell that story to them? And there's a little bit of interesting insight I have on this. So the reason he told this story and then hanged himself the next day is because he wanted someone to hear his story, to get it off of his chest, so that when he passes on, whatever he believes in, if he believes in the afterlife, he'll go to the afterlife with somebody hearing that story, that he has cleansed himself, his soul, that he finally told somebody this, because it seems like he hasn't talked to anybody in a while, and he feels very guilty about what he's done. That's kind of the way that I took it. Then we see a sequence where Annie is tailing Kenny. Annie gets caught. Annie tells this story about how you look just like my father, all of this shtick, and Kenny's like, I don't believe your story. I made a promise to my sister, which I'm not going to say much about that. You know what? I'm not going to say much about that. But we get the same witty kind of Kenny responses. Annie even has a couple witty responses, but is able to get away from Kenny. I'm actually not sure what this sequence was in here for. Maybe I misinterpreted it, but it didn't feel like this was necessary. This may come into play later on in the story, but I'm sure you guys in the comments down below will be able to tell me exactly what that sequence means. No spoilers, of course. Otherwise, the comments will get removed. So then we flash forward again. There's a lot of time shifts in this episode. Reiner, Berthold, and Annie are all sitting at these logs outside the wall. After 5 years they've been doing this and they just want to return, they'll be happy with the information they got. But Reiner says, no, we're going to destroy Wall Rose. Even though Annie is like, a lot of your friends are going to get killed there. And Reiner just says, they're not my friends. Don't you know they're devils? And this plays into Reiner's split personality of how he's keeping track with all of these emotions. It seems that when he's with Annie and Berthold alone, he's this very determined Reiner that will do anything for Marley, because he's an honorary Marleyan and he's a warrior. But when he's with the other people, he's good old Reiner. That's really what it seems like. Reiner actually remembers the advice he gave Aaron. Aaron is like, how could you keep doing this? And Reiner's like, you have to keep moving forward. And this goes back to the present again. Reiner tries to commit suicide, but he remembers Falco. He hears Falco's voice and he doesn't do it. That's a very dark scene. And it's really a shame what's happened to Reiner in this series so far. I mean, it really is. And oh my lord, the final scene of this episode, the scene that blew me away, I didn't even realize in the episode before this that we already saw Eren Yeager. Eren was in this episode as it's revealed at the very end. And if you didn't catch this, I don't know how you didn't, because it looks exactly like Eren, sounds like Eren, and he basically confirms it's Eren. Remember that flashback with Reiner and Eren? Reiner telling Eren to keep moving forward? Remember that for a second. So Falco meets with this war vet that had his legs cut off, the one with the long hair and the eye patch. And the war vet admits that he didn't lose his memory, he just didn't want to go back home. Says that they wouldn't be too happy with him now, which is going to be really interesting to see why that is. Eren realizes Falco is probably going to become one of the next Titans and says, is one of the candidates a girl? Falco seems to have some sort of feelings for Gabby. Now we finally got it confirmed. I've theorized for the last couple episodes that could be the case, and now this episode it seems that, yeah, Falco is having lady issues. But he tells Falco to keep moving forward, and we see his eye, his one eye. It's Eren Yeager. What a crazy twist and turn of events that Eren Yeager shows up like this in this state. But it also shows that in the last episode, I theorized that they may have infiltrated already the Eldians and the Marleyans. And it seems that is the case. Being said, what did you guys think about the twist in this episode? I really want to hear your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. But before you go, don't go click off yet. This week, we'll have a more in-depth analytical review of this episode. You do not want to miss it. I promise it's going to be an insane review for this episode. So subscribe and ring the bell to never miss that. And as well, I'm going to have tons of content in the future. I have tons of ReZero content that I'm going to be putting out. Promise Neverland. And tomorrow, Monday night at 8 p.m. EST, we're going to be discussing this episode with two of my other friends on the King of Anime podcast. So don't miss it. Thank you guys for watching. Bye-bye.